right now, I believe DarkZero holds the longest holding record of being undefeated in Pro League, but I haven't fact-checked that one. It was actually Zach who actually messaged me. Was like, hey, we haven't lost in a really long time, but I haven't fact-checked that one. So, but I believe him. It's going to be Villa here for the map that is played on this matchup. So we get the ban phase done with. So I'm curious to see if 92 is going to be able to rekindle the dream, I suppose. As in a way.
Are they the dream team? That's going to be the question. Obviously, I think Luminosity benefited a lot when they were 92 Dream Team from that really aggressive, unpredictable play style. A lot of teams do this as they come into Pro League and there's not a lot of odds on them. They're a bunch of young gunners and they exceed. A lot of people thought that of Tempo Storm, hasn't materialized. A lot of people thought that of E United, it's kind of materialized. Luminosity was like that prior to picking up Slash, but as we like to talk about Slash whenever we bring up this roster, is the fact that he's brought a bit more grounding to the squad here.
Yeah.
So, if you consider the fact that DarkZero only lost one matchup in Season 10 of Pro League, and it was against this team, and so far are undefeated. Yes, they have had a couple draws, but they've been winning. So much winning. Villa is going to be the map that we play on, and we'll get right into it, sparing no time nor expense, with Luminosity starting on defense.
Did we do the community vote?
No community vote.
We skipped that one? Okay. Good to know.
We didn't have time.
We didn't have time, got it.
No time.
I wonder what it was. I wonder if you guys could tell us, because I
will speculate that DZ probably would have won it.
I think DZ is going to win it. Capital with the ban there from Luminosity. Ash. So, yeah, DZ has learned from the last time. They're going to get rid of those hyper aggro operators. They're just not going to let it be available. Oh no, Factor calling out his own teammate there a little bit.
I mean, Rexon also just, I believe, in Pro League, set a record for the lowest rating in a Pro League match at 0.08.
Really?
On Monday, yes. He went like 1-9 or something like that. In fact,
we calling out Rexon now?
In fact, I think it's not calling out. I think it's perfectly acceptable to note poor performances.
He set a record, guys.
Well, there was actually a bit of a talk for the matchup of what very conveniently timed, of what the lowest rating was in an official Pro League match. And I think people were saying it was 0.09 or something along those lines. But then, Rexon gets a 0.08. And in fact, against Reciprocity, this is how lopsided the matchup was.
He's a very competitive player, guys. Yes. He has to set the records.
Reciprocity defeated Luminosity 7-1 on Monday, just a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And Foxay had 17 kills. All on his own. Great performance for him. But Hyena, Rexon, and Slash combined for 5 kills and 22 deaths.
Ooh.
Doodle and Factor were the only people who showed up in terms of the scoreboard. And yes, Rexon had a very rough outing. Very similar to SSG. SSG had a bad week. They drew EU. Okay, EU United. I keep wanting to call them EU.
We're going to call, honestly, we should be able to just get away with calling them EU.
No, but then, it's confusing.
I know, but...
We have to say things that don't confuse us. Anyway,
all right.
Luminosity had a rough outing against Reciprocity. They now have to bounce back against the team that might have the longest undefeated streak in online Pro League history. That's, once again, we need somebody to fact check that for us.
Yeah, I believe it though. Zach keeps pretty good track of these things. So I mean, I definitely believe it. I just have yet to look into it myself. But yeah, if that's true, that's pretty crazy. And again, I think it is. And I don't... So this is a bit of a... I would say a David and Goliath kind of situation with LG versus DZ. Again, we haven't seen the community vote yet, but I think we can all kind of venture a guess it's around 80% for DZ, 70 maybe. But pretty high up there.
I would agree with that number, yeah.
Yeah, and despite the fact that this team, Luminosity, was actually the last team to beat DZ in Pro League regular matches, I don't know. It's I don't think that's good.
I believe that was before Factor was on the roster.
It was a while ago. They were Luminosity was a different team back then, different organization, different players. But I don't think that Magic's going to be restarted. I mean, DZ's in their stride right now. LG, on the other hand, Luminosity have been looking pretty rough through this season. Right now, they're sitting in 5th place. They've got 1 win, 2 draws with 5 points. It's not terrible, but it's not great either.
Yeah.
DZ, on the other hand, I mean, they're competing to keep in lockstep with TSM, and they need the win here to do that.
This is not intended to be shade thrown at them, although people will obviously interpret it as that, but
bias casters for sure.
A 7-2 victory over EG does not exactly give us much to work with, given the way that EG has played. They have the worst round differential right now. They only have 3 points. They look like a shadow of their former self.
Yes.
So how dominant can DZ be? Well, outside of that EG matchup, which could have just been an outlier based on their opponent, we need to remind you that DZ has not been winning big games. They've either drawn or won 7-5. That's it. It has not been a lopsided affair for them. Against LG, are we going to see another 7-5? Is it going to take DarkZero having to dig deep and being the better team in the long run, or are they able to continue what they started on Monday?
I think it's great that for DZ that they've managed to, just slipping by his inevitable demise. Skies making it all the way to the top of red. There were 2 players, and there are still 2 players underneath him on the red stairs. So yeah, Skies might be able to get one of them, but he will likely get refragged. There is Hyper nearby to support Skies. He might have heard someone as he's actually going to position himself on red.
There could be a flank drone. DarkZero are very good at that, or yes, he's picking up on the sound clues. And, well, a lot of patience from Luminosity is they're not going to engage red stairs at all. Study wall's been opened up, and yeah, there is a drone.
It is.
So you can see that Mint has spotted both members of Luminosity, maybe just one, don't really know. All the while, those 2 members being held downstairs means that you can begin to push on into the site. Skies will breathe in some of the toxic canister, throw out a frag grenade. It looks like it says a little bit of damage to Doodle. Finally, the marks come out, and now there's lots of flanks being held from DarkZero. Hot and Cold has the coverage he needs. Mint with 2, Eclipse with 1. Everybody from Luminosity walking into the line of sight from DarkZero. Diffuser goes down, and it's a pretty good start on this first round. Slash and Doodle inside of the site, but they're in the wrong portion of it. A rotate from Slash, will it get caught? Eclipse knows. He'll fire away. He's got so many bullets in that LMG, and Slash will peek into it. It's a flawless round to start. That's the tempo you want to set if you're DarkZero, and they're up 1-0.
Okay, so a couple things that happened in that round that are worth noting. DarkZero, for example, taking out the, or well, not taking out, but rather clearing the non-existent roamers over by the master side, all the way up to the bomb side of Aviator. They had good control of Study as well, easily opening up the walls where they wanted it opened. But the biggest thing is the fact that Houghton went for a plant behind map, or model as some would call it, instead of behind the vault door. So the default plant in Aviator is behind vault door, but there is another safe plant, and that is behind the map or the model. The reason why it's safe is when you are planting, you crouch lower than when you're just crouched normally. So it's somewhere between crouch and prone. And if you crouch next to that map model, then you're going to notice that you'll see over it. But if you're planting next to the model, then you will actually go lower than it, and you cannot be easily shot by somebody engaging you on the same level. There are ways to deny that plant, of course. In direct denial with C4s and gas canisters, there are some angles you can get onto the players planting there, yes. But DarkZero knew that Luminosity were going to be setting up counters to deny the plant for Vault Door. Luminosity did exactly that, gas canisters and the like, to try and deny a plant behind Vault. Houghton sidestepped that by planting behind Model instead. So good awareness there from DZ. The biggest thing, though, is that the coverage from DZ was pretty good. I mean, it was solid.
It's perfect.
It was pretty much perfect. Yeah.
How can you in good conscience say it was solid?
So there were a couple gaps there that could have been exploited by Luminosity. The biggest one for me is that was close. The narrow miss on the C4 from LG. They could have C4'd Skies from below, and that would have opened up a window of opportunity to rush the site and deny the plant.
Yeah.
But those players who were setting up to C4 from below left. Strangely. I mean, they were getting marked, yeah, but they still had control of that position. They didn't need to leave. If that C4 had come out from below, we would have seen a vastly different round, but not so.
So many bullets. So many bullets in that G8 as Eclipse now goes for the reload, but he's still got more than 200 bullets left in it.
It's such a powerful gun, too.
It is, especially with the angled grip. We've talked about this every time it shows up.
Yeah, it zooms in much faster. I mean, your zoom factor is defined by the weapon form. So if it's an AR, it's a little bit slower than SMG, and it's a little bit faster than a LMG, generally speaking. And the angle grip on that gun really makes it much more viable for Eclipse. The GAA-1 is a powerful weapon with a high DPS and a large magazine. And a fast reload, which is worth noting. Instead of the belt-fed, it's just a straight magazine. Skies with the first kill coming up of Astro Stairs.
Oh, Hyper gets cheated out of that one. Can't land the follow-up shots as Rexon absorbs many of those bullets. Sky's also having some trouble, but he finishes it off. His teammate's been down, and Hyper will need to be retrieved. That was an unfortunate circumstance for Hyper. He probably should have had that kill.
He's hoping that nobody saw that, for sure.
Unfortunately.
Marsu's going to do him dirty there and spot the...
Tens of thousands of people watch that, and many more will rewatch it, too.
He'll spot the action and he'll call it out to, hey, everybody, look at Hyper.
That is a greasy angle over by 90, being held by Doodle through the turned...
Yeah, never seen that before myself, but, you know, it'll be used once and then won't be very useful in the future.
The ingenuity of old Cole Phillips.
Mm-hmm. It's an interesting one for sure. I wonder if it's actually going to work for him, though, is the question, because right now we're looking at a 5v3, and if Doodle gets one, that's big, but is he even going to get that opportunity is the real question, because he's starting to get collapsed upon. I mean, there's even someone going for 90 Repel.
That panel being open also will mean that he's going to be just absolutely inundated with noise. Hyena manages to get Skies, but takes some significant damage in the process. That is a very well-thrown Electric Claw from Slash that will stop Hot and Cold X Kairos from going off. A bit of negligence from DarkZero here. It definitely could have been played better. So you'll have to call in the Cavalry as there's 20 seconds to go. Hyper on flank watch. C4 will go, just narrowly missing out on Hot and Cold. Some damage being done to DarkZero earlier. Could be enough as Doodle springs in, takes out Hyper, shotgun out, misses the shot. A crossfire established. DarkZero going for the plant, Eclipse with coverage. Can somebody shut Hot and Cold down in time? Slash rushing in, unable to hit around the model. He falls off the plant, but it doesn't matter because Mitt gets it 2 in a row for DarkZero.
So close! A narrow win there for DZ. Really got to say, Slash was trying his heart out, and it just wasn't enough in the end. So close, though. So very close. Slash almost saved that round by throwing an Electric Claw where it needed to be. There was no EMP coming out from Mint when it needed to be there to salvage the Excaros to allow them to detonate. It is worth noting that the Electric Claw is a slow-to-trigger device, so there is a big window for your Thatcher to throw an EMP to destroy it before it can destroy the Excaros or the Exothermic, either way. But that window was not seized upon by Mint. For the rest of it, though, lots of missed shots for DZ in that round that almost cost them. So scary were those moments where DZ were just missing, and then someone standing right in front of Houghton, for example, in maps. I didn't actually catch who there was. I want to say maybe Factor, but what we do know is his SAS operator had a shotgun out, and oh boy, did he miss out on an opportunity. He was like, they were staring at each other. That is just so hard to watch. You can see that Ash has a 0% ban rate through this map for recent times, which means that DarkZero apparently the first to ban here on this map, I assume, because we have seen we've even seen Ash banned in this season. Yeah. So that's probably a map specific statistic. We never. I mean, it's always confusing when we see that because I'm never really sure about the actual category, the criteria.
Production, could we please get clarity on? Oh, yeah. Affirmative. Thank you very much. Okay, they're gonna give us some clarification on something.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Sorry that I did the. I just wanted to do the sound.
No, that's totally fine. Do it again. Kicks. This is Intero. Would you like to make the noise? Over.
Yes, thank you, Intero. I will do that. And over and out.
Roger. Over and out. Anyway, it's a great. It's very infectious. Oh, Hyper knows that he's got one in his line of sight. Rexon taking all but a tiny portion of his health away. And now Rexon's back inside of Aviator. Almost dead, and now he's still being watched by that drone. After 2 failed attempts at Trophy, or at Aviator rather, it's going to be a Trophy and statuary defense for Luminosity.
I wonder what that token on Hyper's gun means. The little symbol? That little dangly bit there?
It's a Mahjong tile.
Yeah.
I don't know what it means.
I don't either.
It's the it's the logo for a skate company.
Really? Well,
I actually thought that was a kill that we just saw from Hyper, but that was Skies will get it. 2 kills, very quick order. Answered back from LG, but still an advantage favoring DarkZero. They have every opening kill in this matchup. The only one that's fallen from DarkZero happens to be a very pivotal operator. It's Hot and Cold on the Hibana, so your hard destruction, you better hope he was able to get them off in time. Frag grenade goes off right in front of Hyena, doesn't deal any damage. Still trying to hunt down Rexon is DarkZero. They're not having any success right now. Hyper's gonna check the wrong way, and there emerges the Jaeger. Didn't have much HP, and Hyper will be able to clean him up as Mint falls as well to the Maestro. Hyena's having a good round so far.
Yeah.
He and Doodle will now be forced to do even more than they've already done. A minute to go in DarkZero, 3v2.
Luminosity could still win this, but DZ have been pretty quick on their attack. Master control not yet established. Eclipse is going to try and correct that with Skies. Hyper going to be the sole flank player and actually also the planter. So this is going to be a statuary door plant attempt with coverage from Master. And as Hyena gets Eclipse, there's no immediate reflag, but there it is actually. Hyper gets it. It's a really important kill that Hyper just managed to seize away from Hyena. Great spray control, and there's the third for Hyper, I believe, in the round total. A great round from him. DZ take 3 in a row. And, well, I gotta say, Hyper having a really big one there, but I'm still kind of surprised that DZ won that, to be honest. Even if Hyper's the one stepping up, there were a lot of mistakes made by Luminosity that weren't necessary. Like, why is Meister playing in Statuary, for example? Do you not have an Evil Eye to deny for Statuary? Maybe he can play safer. Yeah, why are you there?
Why are you there?
But not in ranked.
Yeah, no.
I mean, he did get a kill from that. He peeked in the Master aggressively. You could tell that DZ wasn't expecting it. I mean, I think there's probably something going on in LG's head right now where they're like, if we're aggressive enough, the enemy won't be able to handle it. And sometimes Luminosity's right, but other times DZ is prepped.
LG playing that if we pretend that we're going to win, then we'll start winning.
Who would you? I don't know if you could. Yeah. Play for the job you want. Play for the result you want.
Play for the result you want.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you here. Couple things to note with Villa being a kind of a topsy-turvy affair.
It is, yeah, often.
We've seen a couple games, you and I in particular, over the last week and a half, where attackers on Villa tend to do quite well and better than usually. Now, you look at the bans, it's an Ashe and Capitao being banned. There's no reason why with a Echo and Mira ban, this should be any different than usual. I think the real test will be when they switch sides. If DarkZero cleans up on defense, then it's just simply DarkZero being the better team.
5 seconds remaining.
I mean, they've been so precise, and I think you're right. On a map that usually gives you an innate advantage, given that it's a defender-sided map and has been since its launch, Luminosity is taking a lot of chances and playing that hyper-aggro style and peeking when they don't need to, playing off-site when they don't necessarily need to. They could be playing safer and more, I guess, even just simplistic or routine, if you want to call it, and maybe netting better results.
On the one hand, to play devil's advocate for them, this is how they beat DZ.
It's true.
On that moment we talked about last year, was it June 19th, 2019? Luminosity beats DarkZero, at the time known as 92 Dream Team, the last time that DarkZero was defeated in a Pro League match. So DarkZero holding a pretty long record there for, you know, having not lost a Pro League match. But anyway, the reason LG won that is because of how aggressive they were. It's because of they caught DZ off guard. They were too much to handle for DarkZero at the time. It's just not working as well for Luminosity. Also, Luminosity's doing it kind of almost half as much as they did last time. So it's like they're hovering in between two good options, between playing solid and
look at that drone.
Playing aggro. What?
I mean, that was the drone that was being used to guide Hyper over towards Rexin before when there was a Goyo shield in play. You can note that Luminosity's lineup, there is obviously a Goyo absent, so you don't need to worry too much about the Jaeger playing in that position. Is there an ADS down there? It sure sounds like it.
Oh, I don't think so. That
He might have just missed it.
I think it detonated. I think there's no ADS. That's surprising.
No, it was a... there you go. It's gone. He had the concussive out.
Yeah.
It's a trophy statuary defense yet again, so of course DarkZero is going to clear over on the study side, and where Aviator Games would usually be the bomb site. DarkZero have been extremely good at setting up flank drones, and that's why partially Luminosity playing so far off site have been punished for it. Now, even though it worked against DarkZero before, I think DZ has continuously improved as a team as to where they were at that point. And the big thing is that LG must know of all the secretive spots that DarkZero manages to find with these drones, and yet they are still playing as free as they are. It's playing right into DarkZero's hands.
I should also know that DarkZero was an entirely different team back then.
I literally said that.
Oh, did you?
I literally said they were an entirely different team. I said that they've gotten better. But yes, roster-wise.
No, I heard the gotten better part, and I agree with you. I just didn't think about I didn't think you were talking about the roster. It's my bad. Slash gets Skies with a well-placed headshot on the bomb chassis. Impressive angle there from Slash.
Extraordinarily good shot. And yeah, Skies going down is going to be tough. Rexin found out he was playing at 90. Luminosity taking a beating now. Hyena almost dropped. Slash almost dropped. They will be very tough position, and Mint has to get out because the toxic canisters proved to be too much for him. You can still hear the Alda going away. Nobody crossed into DarkZero's line of sight. They might be able to find a couple kills without giving up one of their own teammates. Flank being watched from DarkZero. Down goes Factor. Eclipse is having a very good day. There's one for Hot and Cold as well as Mint goes for Plant. Hyper gets in on the fun. And Hyena in a 1v4. Diffuser down, 4-0 DarkZero. This has been a slog for LG so far, and DarkZero look nigh unstoppable.
Yeah, sorry, I just misunderstood what you said. I thought you were talking about like.
I apologize, but you didn't need to.
Because they have gotten a lot better. DarkZero have just progressively improved over their their lifespan. But yeah, I know the players were entirely different. So, well, not entirely, but a lot of them were. Anyway, yeah, 4-0 for DarkZero on attack of Villa. And you could tell in that last round, okay, so I want to briefly talk about the round in like what actually happened. So it was a clear from DZ on the opposite end of the building from where the bomb site was. They also pushed in from Master, and all through both of those pushes, DarkZero made it happen without losing too much, if anything really. Then when DZ comes up to the site take, they're just collapsing upon Luminosity. And I want to really hammer home the feeling that I was getting from Luminosity in that last round, and that is fear, I suppose. LG was being repressed. They were straight up being, like, they were being absolutely cornered. And DarkZero, the strange thing about it is that I don't know if DarkZero's attacks are so well conducted that LG needs to be playing in this way. It seems almost like LG's really confused in how they should, as to how they should play, because we're seeing moments where LG will get really hyper-aggressive and give away a kill. We're seeing moments where LG has a player playing in like Trophy, for example, who's not even trying to stop a push from anywhere. Why? Because they're worried about a push from, I don't know, their flank, because they've lost so many players already by playing hyper-aggro that they can't hold basic angles, and so players whose job it is to deny plants and statuary, for example, aren't allowed to do that because they're preoccupied making sure nobody rushes them from the side. And to an extent, I would say Luminosity doesn't necessarily need to do that. A lot of the time, DarkZero isn't seizing upon opportunities like gaps in defense. They're just punishing aggression and then going for objective play, and that's fine. But then it's not fine when your anchors are distracted by potential when they're not denying what's actually happening, which is that plant attempt. Luminosity's getting the worst end of this whole equation, and I don't know if it's necessarily their fault. It's just a bad setup for them, bad matchup, and they're playing it poorly.
Luminosity's blown up their composition. You can see a whole bunch of role swaps going on, but Hyena and Doodle will likely always stay on those support-oriented roles. Doodle fairly good on the smoke, so why move him off of that position? Excellent entry, though, for DarkZero so far, and they are going to set a very brisk pace after the second-floor bomb sites not going the way that Luminosity would have wanted, so they instead head downstairs, and, well, DarkZero loaded up on the soft destruction to enable this vertical play that will tear open the roof of the bomb site.
Lots of breaching charges being brought here from DZ. Sledge as well to boot. I mean, wow. You're not going to have anywhere to hide if you're an anchor for Luminosity.
Yeah, have fun with that, eh?
Yeah, have fun with that. Exactly. There are two people on Luminosity trapped in laundry. I want to stress that. As soon as that's found out by DZ, then they're going to have a really tough time. I guess they're not really trapped because they have the rotation, to be fair. But this is still... No, they are, because of the holes that are being opened up from above. If those holes are monitored, again, as soon as ZZ spots them, they will be monitored, then these players will die.
I think they have the Rorschach going on where it's like, yeah, I'm not trapped in here with you, you're trapped in here with me.
Well,
kind of deal?
Based on the scoreline, I would say no.
Probably. I mean, I was just trying to be.
But yes, it is a funny joke.
Eclipse gets droned in, finds Slash, say goodbye, and now another Valkyrie camera taken out. DZ has been methodical in this one, and Skies might have a beat on the fact that there are various members of Luminosity playing inside of Laundry. 30 seconds to go, and now DarkZero gets in on the action of Laundry. Drone going out in front of them. Hot and Cold going for the defuse. Skies methodically above, snaps onto Doodle, and say goodbye to another member of Luminosity. Diffuser goes down again, and man, LG are in a world of hurt at the moment. Factor finds Hot and Cold, so at least one on the board for LG. That body that Hyena shoots, not alive at all. He'll move on in towards the site. Diffuser is nearby. He could possibly stick a defuse here, but it will almost certainly be given away. It's just Rex and Hyena left now as Factor goes down too. You gotta stop them. Rexen finds Skies. They're defusing. It is Hyper, 2 kills. Excellent flick. Great mechanics. 5-0 for DarkZero.
Wow.
Luminosity's got no answer right now for DZ.
Look at that transfer. Hyper knows what he needs to hit, and he hits him. Beautiful stuff. DZ up 5-0. And you're right, DZ has the correct answer. We're going to look at that for the 3rd time, just in case you missed it.
Give it to us again.
Yeah, here it is, and the transfer. Beautiful. Now, you don't actually often see transfers in Siege. It's an uncommon thing, so always juicy when you get to witness it. So 5-0, DZ are bringing just the right amount of everything to every situation. I'd say the only thing they had an abundance of in this round was soft destruction from above. But there's a lot of other things going on here. It's not just DZ being thorough. It's not just DZ going for the objective play and being smart about that in the post plant. It's also LG I'm not even sure what LG is doing. I don't understand. It's almost like they're flying blind, you know what I mean? Like, going into this match, they really didn't know what to expect, and they didn't plan for it. And they're just trying to see what can come of their general standard play.
I will say this, I don't often want to interview the teams that lose.
I do want a lot myself.
There are times where I do, obviously. It really depends on the matchup. This is a particular instance where no matter what happens, if Luminosity loses, unless they manage to bring it really close and come back, if Luminosity loses as lopsided as this match is looking to be, I would prefer to interview them over DarkZero. But you know who I'd like to interview more than anybody? Bacon. Give me Bacon. DarkZero, if you're listening to me right now, this is the last time that Kix and I will be casting NA before we go to the 6 Invitational, and you got a hell of a record ahead of you. Give me an interview with Jordan. I like Jordan. I like Hot and Cold. I like your whole team. They're all nice people. But Bacon and I are kindred spirits. I would like to interview him. Just like we got Lycan with SSG last week, if you remember.
Yes.
I was very happy about that.
That's good.
I want Bacon. So if you're listening to me, DarkZero, please make this happen.
All right. Well,
get it trending. Don't actually get it trending, please. Twitter trends are horribly embarrassing. Imagine creating a hashtag in Rainbow Six to try and get things done. Maybe even like a change to like an operator or their weapon.
Heartbeat sensor.
Imagine trying to get that trending. That'd be, and then imagine it actually happening. Couldn't be me.
Bikini bot?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I was just speaking in the abstract. There was nothing in particular that I was thinking about.
Okay, absolutely. Well, it is an Aviator defense here, and LG are going for a deep roam with the dual Factor Rexen combo going on here.
That combo usually can be quite successful. Today, not so much against DarkZero.
Yeah, it just hasn't been working for him so far. There's been a couple opportunities where it could, and it just doesn't. Eclipse is actually going to push a player off of 90. I believe that was Doodle, using a phone call and repel. 2 things, phone call, repel, and he's gone. He just leaves. So that is the kind of presence that DZ has right now.
Sky's down below, just roam clearing on that first floor. He might end up walking. Now he's up on the 2nd floor, so he's making no time at all just getting around the map. Now, we noted that there were those 2 offsite players, Luminosity, Rexen, and Factor. They could walk right into Sky's waiting arms. Hyper going for a push from the back as now Nitro Cell goes off.
Wow.
Beautifully played from Slash, and there goes an Electric Claw too. That'll get it.
No,
it does not. Just misses out on it. That would have been a miracle from Slash. And because of that, goodbye Rexen. So long. First frag to DarkZero.
And it's one of the roamers gone. Factor's still alive down here, but he was also spotted out, so Skies is aware of this and he's looking for his prey. Factor does not have the heartbeat detector out. Phone call will give away his position, and Skies gets the kill. DZ in a position to get match point in the first half. Doesn't happen very often, but looks like that's what's going on right now. There's still denial for Luminosity, though not very much as we hit the last 20 seconds.
The smoke is spotted inside a vault, and at that point you're just going to have to go for it. Nearly a team kill, and this one is all but over. The last member is Doodle inside a vault. He was spotted earlier, and there's no way out. Diffuser goes down yet again. DarkZero looking for the sweep. In terms of diffusers, they've gotten 4 of them down so far, unless my notes are incorrect. Doodle's only able to find 1 kill so far. He's just going to wait. Guns down 1, shotgun out. He's got 2 down. No. Hyper's there. No. Hot and cold. Hyper, it's in your hands now. Doodle's going to go for it. But not close enough. Man, that came so close. Doodle almost managed to perform a miracle. That's why they call him Cole Phillips. It is a sweep through the first half. DarkZero, 6-0 match point.
Nice try there from Doodle. A quad kill, so that'll go on the record. Even though it was impactless, it was pretty cool to watch, and it almost made this match seem like it was a bit of a competition. Kitchen, the next bomb site, as the first half ends 6-0. Now, I want to stress one thing. It's really important. Parker and I brought it up earlier. Parker actually in particular brought it up. But we were talking about previous matches we've seen on Villa.
Yes.
Villa can often be attacker-sided. And in fact, I believe, and I don't remember the match, but I feel like we've casted a Villa match that goes 6-6 all attack. I'm pretty sure it's happened. And I still vividly remember it happening, but I don't remember which match it was. It was a long time ago, but I'm pretty sure it has.
Somebody will correct us.
Someone will correct us, sure. What I do know is that it's not crazy to assume that Luminosity could bring it back in the second half, winning every single attack and just bringing it in a sweep to counteract DarkZero's sweep. But I really don't think it'll happen. Like, I just personally, based on what we're seeing right now, Luminosity seems to sleep at the wheel. DZ is doing just the right amount of work to completely isolate and punish every action that Luminosity puts out. And then, yeah, I don't know. As it goes on to defense, I think it's just going to get easier for DZ.
Doodle's the only one who's really shown up, and a lot of those kills just came from that round, in which was a 1v4. It became a 1v1. He got 3 kills. That's 4 in total. But all for naught. Would have been the ace clutch. Would have been a heroic performance. So
yeah, it was such a close call. Well, it's
It's a kitchen defense downstairs, yeah?
Yeah, it is. It's kitchen defense. I guess they're trying to upset the operator selection from Luminosity, probably something along those lines. The cool thing about this is that you might be able to get less soft destruction. And in this case, there's just a buck. There's no breaching charges on Rexen. There might be some on Slash and Factor, but at least not for one of your potential breaching charge sets. So maybe Luminosity has light soft destruction. Maybe DarkZero will get away with that pick on Kitchen. Maybe we'll get a round win. What are you doing?
Not ideal.
He's on just about 50 HP after that. Lost the drone. Opened the floor a little bit more, but I think he was trying to hit underneath. Now those lifelines are actually really easy to control. So a lot of throwables are subject to the momentum of the player who's throwing. So grenades and C4s, if you're moving a certain direction, it adds momentum to that thing. The lifeline doesn't work like that. It just has a start point and an end point. And so it's easier to not miss the lifeline shots. So I'm surprised he missed that.
Yeah. Hot and cold now with the cardiac sensor out. Will be giving information to the rest of his team. 2 members from Luminosity below 100 HP. 1 minute and 15 seconds left. That's where we're standing at right now. The Nitro Cell is going to narrowly miss. Doesn't look like it did any damage to Luminosity. Might have done some to Rexen, who's at 50 HP as he now finds a goo mine.
Indestructible floor underneath him.
Yes.
Unlucky for the pulse of Houghton.
Lion gets burned. That's the first EE1D, which means that timing-wise, you've still got 2 left.
You can see there were some anchors in the site who actually just didn't care about the E1D. It's like, yeah, detect me. I don't care. And that's the right way to handle it in some situations. Not all, mind you, but often with Lion, you just got to be confident.
That's a nice opening pick onto Eclipse from Doodle. Luminosity gets only their 2nd opening pick so far. Skeleton Key exhausted from Doodle above as he's now got a frag grenade in hand, ready to drop it on down. There's nobody there. It might just be to clear out utility. Doesn't do any damage as DarkZero remains unscathed. Bullet holes being played by Mint with the ACOG and TCSG in hand. Hyper not too far off to get back into the site to help when Luminosity's presence begins. Mint doesn't give his position away. That is tough. Frag grenade goes out, does some damage, but not a lot. Slash going for the defuse. In comes the UMP of Hot and Cold. Not enough. There's 1 for Mint, but LG is their best opportunity. Another for Mint, 3 for Mint. He's traded off. It's a 1v2 with Skies in a clutch position. Will we see a 7-0 in front of us? He's getting information, but he's going to have to watch if somebody is sitting on that diffuser. There goes the last E1D, saved perfectly for the post plant. Rexen at 50 HP, Hyena at full HP, Skies at full HP. That's what we're looking at with half of the time now burned off of this diffuser. Skies is completely blind. DarkZero have some utility operators with intel as Skies drops, sees the Lion, misses the fight. It won't be a clean sweep. It's been an all-attacking affair with Luminosity picking up their very first round after getting that diffuser down. They desperately needed this, but they're going to have to string 5 more together in order to draw, because winning is out of the question for them.
To me, it really just seems like Luminosity's applying the tourniquet, and they're wondering how long they can prevent themselves from bleeding out. Because, yeah, that was a round win. It came really close. DarkZero had some pretty massive gaps in their defense there. The most notable, of course, being that they weren't actually holding the push in from Laundry. And I hear a lot of you saying, well, Min was doing that. And yes, he was, but then he wasn't when it mattered. He wasn't when the planter came in to plant. That 1 second window that Mint allowed on the Laundry doorway into sight is exactly when the planter came in. So you could attribute that to unlucky timing. I would attribute that to the lack of patience and worry of tracers. Mint got a little bit spooked when gunshots started going off next to him. And you know, part of that is how confusing communication can be in Siege. I just want to take a little bit of a sidestep here. We don't have a mini-map in this game.
Yes.
So you don't know if someone on your team is behind you unless you actually like hear them say, hey, I'm covering your flank.
Yeah.
And so sometimes, or if you just know that they are from looking out at that place earlier. So sometimes things like what Mint just did will happen where you get off your angle, just get a general understanding of your surroundings by looking around you. And then you're like, okay, I know what I need to do, and I know what I can do, and I know it's going to be fine if I do it this way. So Min was just trying to gauge his situation. So you can't really blame him. But like I said, it was just the 1 second that he wasn't watching that the planter came in. And if there were no plant there, I don't think that Luminosity would have won it. No post-plant, I think DZ would have been able to clutch that up.
Such a hard spot for somebody like Skies to be in as well. I was going to note that the utility operators that exist, Intel operators, Mozzie and Pulse, weren't able to do all that much from the grave. And especially Pulse, you know, if Pulse is dead, what can he really do? Nothing. That cardiac sensor is not very helpful. There's no Valkyrie on the board. Valkyrie was being ran by Luminosity, but is not in the repertoire for DarkZero through these 2 defensive rounds. And now that we see a Maestro, there was no info in that previous round that they could have used. So some small changes for DarkZero. Sky's on the Jaeger and Eclipse now onto the Legion instead, but other than that, it seems to be par for the course. Luminosity like their lineup an awful lot, and I mean, you're hard-pressed to see what's missing from it, especially the Lion, which was played very well, saved for the post-plant, deliberately just to kill time and prevent, or even detect whichever remaining members of DarkZero there were after that bomb went down. And I think that was very deliberate because we noted that the first EE1D from Lion was, I think, with like a minute to go in that round. So, obviously, premeditated.
Oh, nade coming out there from Doodle, not landing onto anyone. I think he did a little bit of damage to Hyper, maybe, but not really, not enough to get a kill, of course. EMP's coming out, that's the second. There is no denial other than impacts. So the EMPs aren't going to help with the hard breaching. They're just going to help with like gadgets like Evil Eyes and Legion traps and ADSs and such. Rexon has gotten up close on top main. He's got support from Slash as well. Is that a volcanic shield or volcano? No, it's just a regular one. Okay. Yes. We do have Goyo in play here. It's interesting the way that they're using these Goyos also.
I was going to say, where are they all?
One by the bar.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure where the rest of them are.
Yeah, I mean, there's one?
There's one by the bar.
That's it. Can we check Mint for a second here to see if he's put them all down, please?
He has.
So they've obviously been taken care of then by Luminosity. And this was actually something that Devin talked to me about when we were offline waiting for the matches yesterday, was that once they're gone, there's no trace they ever existed. When you destroy a deployable shield, you know how they leave the pieces of metal? The Goyo shields don't do that. So there's no way to tell where they were.
Oh, we see a second one there by Skies as well.
There you go. So second EE1D goes. First kill is going to go to Hyper and DarkZero. They've already got 1 point. They're going to look for all 3 of them. 30 seconds left. Will you be able to spring on into the site, Luminosity? That's the real question. A second kill for Hyper as that volcanic shield just lies in front of Skies, as you noted. Eclipse gets in on the fun. Skies gets obliterated. Factor 2 very big kills. Doodle gets one as well, so now Luminosity has the advantage. Diffuser picked up. Hyper will wait. Is it going to be a default plant? Eclipse on the flank. Takes the head off of Factor. He's had a great game. It's Doodle in a 1v2. He's gone. Goyo shield blows up.
Oh, it was the Evil Eye Goyo shield combo. The zap onto the Goyo.
Zip zap.
Oh, and there goes the volcano. And beautiful setup from DZ. I love to see stuff like that.
It's Not exactly the result that you want if you're Luminosity.
No.
They got smoked 7-1 by Reciprocity, and they get smoked 7-1 by DarkZero. Not a great week for them. If Space Station's having a bad week, then I don't even know what you'd call this. Luminosity, and obviously some frustration from them after what should have been not necessarily a victory from them, but you entered the day in 5th. You've been a pretty even team. Your round differential is not that bad. You as a team have been, doing quite well. You have that run through the qualifiers where you do decently well in the 6 invitational quals against SSG, and then what ends up happening, you have a brutal week.
Yeah, not just a brutal week, but like each one of these matches, if you zoom in on them, it just looks terrible. It's not just the score line, but Luminosity, asleep at the wheel for that one. Against Reciprocity, pretty much the same thing. They did have a draw against TSM. That's the biggest thing that we can say in favor for Luminosity, is that's a really big draw. TSM are right now in 1st, and I think even after that, they might still be. It'll come down to round differential. But because DZ and TSM rather now have the same amount of points at 16.
TSM will still hold the lead.
Yeah. Okay. So you did the math already.
I did the math.
Yeah. All right. Well, then you go. TSM will still hold the lead. DZ will catch up though a little bit after that match.
Just by 1 though.
Yeah. See,
by 1 or 2, I think. No, it might be maybe by 3. Maybe by 3.
Okay, but
the round differential. Yeah, the round differential was
It was much wider of a gap, and then this win here from DZ is going to narrow it. One thing that's really I'm going to remind you guys, because I think you really need to be here for the next North American Play Day. Next North American Play Day, DZ plays TSM. So the 2 teams in 1st, well, in terms of points, will go against each other. It's going to be super exciting.
Yeah. If you really look at Luminosity, and we'll get to DarkZero, but we've been talking about DarkZero for quite a while. If you look at Luminosity, they drew Tempo Storm, who are the worst team in Pro League statistically. Luminosity has SSG up next, so it's not exactly like they're going to be playing one of the weaker teams. Their most recent victory came over E United, another team that's lower in the standings than they are. Other than that, it's been really rough going for Luminosity, right? 2 draws, a victory against a team that's lower than them, and losses against all the other teams that are objectively higher than them in the standings. That's not exactly where you want to be, and while the team does look like it's got potential, there's obviously some things to figure out this week, a series of setbacks that you don't necessarily want. Our interview with DarkZero is ready though, so we'll throw it up for you, and we'll get to talk about that matchup, though I think most of their playing did most of the talking. Hello, Hot and Cold, nice to see you. How are you doing today?
Doing great, Parker. How are you?
I'm doing well. That was a pretty brisk affair for you. So let's talk about that one. First and foremost, 6 rounds on attack. How does that happen?
Our attacks on Villa have been like phenomenal. Jesus, I think they've actually been better than our defenses in matches. So I don't know. We just been clicking on attack on that map.
You went from needing every single round in the first 4 play days to crushing EG, and now doing even better against Luminosity. What is it that changed? Was it just the team maybe gelling a little bit more with Eclipse and Skies on the roster?
I think part of it's that, and another part of it is just more time together. With the season having 2 games, every week, it's kind of hard to get the practice time that you need to like really gel and get the strats down. And I think we finally had that time, and it's everyone can see it. It's clicking now.
How much of your success over the last 6 play days now goes to BC now being back on your coaching staff? Because from my understanding, he was still doing some leadership roles when he was playing, but now that he doesn't have the distraction of being a player, how much more has he been able to help the team?
Having him on coach has definitely helped and hurt the team, in my opinion, because the team kind of fell to a point where we didn't really have like a support player. Like obviously I play support, but Brandon was usually like the camera guy. He'd be on cams. He would basically like tell people where to go and where to be. So we've been trying to find that role within the team, and I think we finally found it. But as a coach, he's the best coach I've ever seen. Probably the best coach in the game, in my opinion. So yeah, he helps us a lot.
Very high praise for somebody who himself doesn't like to do much talking, keeps a very low profile on social media and all that jazz. So it's his influence is very quiet, but obviously quite strong. Now your next matchup is going to be up against TSM, the other team that hasn't lost yet. You haven't lost an online Pro League match since June 19th, 2019. How much extra prep work and what kind of prep work do you need to do to ensure that streak doesn't end on Monday?
Obviously we'll be watching their VODs depending on what maps we think we're going to go to, and honestly, if we just play our game, we'll beat them. But it just comes down to that.
Any extra pressure on your shoulders that you think might influence your own performances?
No, I personally don't think so. I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but I think it's, you know, a match is a match, and we'll get it done.
Well, it sounds like while you might be hot in game, under pressure, you were just as cool as your name would suggest you live up to. Congratulations on your victory today. Anything to say at the tail end of the interview?
Nothing much. Just thank you for all the fans for sticking with us, and yeah, see you guys next week.
Thank you very much. Good luck next week.
Thank you.